Ben Gleib, are you ready?
Well, I will tell you this. I used to have a stress ball early in my career. That was a promo item for my website, Gleib.com, and it said, Gleib.com, we've got balls. So I have balls. One time I brought them to the Hollywood Improv. I was performing. This is long for your cold open, I understand. But Jeff Ross was on stage performing at the show that I produced and performed on, and my parents were in the audience, and one of the balls bounces onto the stage while Jeff's doing stand-up. And the roast master picks up the ball, reads Gleib.com, we've got balls, looks at my dad and goes, my mom, and goes, you must be so proud. So I got balls and I'm ready.
Bringing the laughs to the studio today is comedian, actor, and writer known for his stand-up work and political satire. He's the creator and host of Idiotest, a former correspondent on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and frequent guest and roundtable contributor on Chelsea Lately. And lately, he's evolving late night with his show Good Night with Ben Gleib, the first of its kind talk show on YouTube. That's a perfect bit for our cold open.
I want to talk a little about your hardcore following that is sort of compared to is it the Grateful Dead, sort of like the way people follow, and that's not super common with comedians, but it's happened to you. What are those fans like?
They're amazing. The mad ones, as we call them, they're great. They've just been such a thing that have made me, such an element of my life that have made me feel so validated as a performer, as an artist. It made me feel so good. It's always weird when a comedian calls themselves an artist, because then other comedians cringe at it and then people don't want to hang out with me. But it's true, I'm an artist. I'm one of the great artists. And the point is, it's been amazing. You know, it's so great to have people that just really resonate with what you do and get what you do so much that they want to follow you around and come to all your shows when you go on the road and travel, even out of country sometimes, to come to your things. And it really feels good. I'm just wondering how they're filming you, but I guess the cameras are there. So.
Ben, dude, you told us when you got here about your new late night YouTube first of its kind special or show.
Talk show, yeah.
Talk about the talk show.
Yeah.
I've created the first ever full-scale late night talk show for YouTube. You know, YouTube's become the #1 platform on earth, overtaking Netflix, overtaking cable and broadcast. And late night is in this crazy time. It's being canceled. It's too expensive. It's being censored. And I'm taking it to the place where those things aren't really issues. You can't really be canceled. You can't be censored. At least not nearly as much as you can on network TV. We're not owned by anybody. It's the first independently owned late night show ever. It's called Good Night with Ben Gleib. The drummer of the Black Eyed Peas, Keith Harris, is my band leader. He's a brilliant musician, multi-Grammy winner. Got some amazing luminaries backing this thing. And it's just a really exciting thing to be part of. And I just was tired of making hits for networks and streamers and platforms that, you know, get you to sign contracts that are suboptimal for you, and then have you do works that create a big hit for them, and then when they get enough to have reruns forever, they stop making your show and you're looking for work again. It's like there's no job stability in this business.
So there you go. I was going to ask where that leapt from, why the desire to do YouTube, but boom.
Yeah, and so I didn't even consider pitching this to streamers. I certainly could have and probably could have sold it, but I don't want to be able to cancel a show. You know, my game show Idiotest, I'm so grateful for it, and it really took my career to the next level, but we did 4 seasons, 210 episodes, and then they didn't make a 5th because they didn't need to, and they've been rerunning it ever since, and then Netflix bought it, and then they aired it for a few years, and then Pluto TV has it now, and it's still airing, and I don't have another show after that, so you have to go figure things out. And then I, started doing things with the Young Turks. I started doing my own projects and worked on my stand-up specials and toured as I always did, because you get to, at least as a comedian, have that backup with touring. But I'm like, I don't want to do that again. I want to create something that I own. I own the IP. And people can come on board and invest and own a piece of it themselves. But there's no multinational corporations doing it. So we're reinventing late night. That's like the business and career side of it. But the creative side is we're reinventing late night. We're creating the first ever late night show that's on YouTube. We're creating the first ever late night show with global studio audience on video walls. You can buy a ticket to be camera on, mic on our walls in the studio.
I think that's the first of its
do you have a
kind.
co-host?
That is the first of its
or-
kind. No co-host, just Keith. He'll be kind of my
So
sidekick and
we're,
band leader.
we're ruled out.
You guys are definitely ruled out. That's why I did.
I
no
sent in the
co-host.
audition tape for Tony and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't look at it, but it seemed good from the cover image.
Well, it's
Seemed really
interesting though
nice.
He's just a
because
pair of nuts.
I come to a similar point, which is why I wanted to do this show with Evan, because I worked on a TV show for 7 years on ABC called The Connors, and I was the entire music department. And it things were great. Things were great during that time, and then it stopped. And
Yeah.
you just go, God, I'm in my mid 40s now. Do I want to keep chasing that thing, or do I
Right.
want to take control and have more control over my life to do something that hopefully can be, a great thing for all people, men, women, alike.
So far, we've failed.
So how does that feel?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
how are
that
you-
that reads. No, no, I'm kidding. No, this is a great podcast, and I relate to exactly what you're saying because I'm in my mid-20s and I feel the same way. Wow, why is that the biggest laugh? What kind of host would laugh so hard?
Super judgy.
My
Ageist.
God, you don't think it's? Would you believe mid-30s? Still laughing. You're not
36.
wrong. You're not
36.
wrong.
Creeping on
Listen,
37.
36, going on 25, mid-40s, whatever.
God, he
I'm
looks good.
75 years old. Also, nobody put any thought into the placement of this cup because how am I supposed to reach you when I have this mic in my hand? It's like I feel like I'm about to the audio levels
We're
are out of
gonna
whack.
cut the teeth for the late night.
Here's the thing about me,
audio
Ben.
level.
I laugh. Everybody knows I laugh all the time. I'm I'm the best audience member.
Those
for,
handsome laugh lines
You
are
gotta come to
evident.
my
can't even see
tapings
my
then.
eye. But no. Anyway, I appreciate stand-up comedy. I love it, and I love your stuff. And so,
Thank you.
No apologies. You look amazing.
Thank you. No, I'm totally kidding. It's totally fine. I know I don't look that great. It's okay. I'll be okay. But the last part, and then I will let you guys host the shows as you like. But the last part of the show that I'm also innovating late night with is that the only thing that about late night that hasn't kept up really to my mind with where the world has moved is that it's always still just about only celebrity culture.
Yeah.
And as your podcast certainly knows, is that the world has evolved past that being the only interest. And there's all these amazing people doing amazing work around the world. And people might find them on the one niche that they're interested in a podcast, but they might not be exposed to the vast array of like world changing and life changing and evolving ideas that could change their lives, the platforms, modalities, concepts that could really improve their lives. So I'm going to be booking on every episode alongside a celebrity, also a thought leader, change maker, expert,
Oh, cool.
wellness expert, entrepreneur, people that can literally expose people to things that can change their lives and do that on a late night talk show. And it's better for me because I get to make, it's a whole canvas of the world to make jokes with instead of just having to be only talking to
Good
Chris
for you.
Hemsworth again.
We'll be watching. That's exciting.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Since we won't ever get to be on it.
No, you won't be able to be on it, but subscribe at Good Night on YouTube and you can watch the show.
Tell us something that maybe most people who are familiar with you and your work don't know about how you grew up, about something about your childhood or something about you that is one of the main reasons you wanted to go into stand-up comedy.
That's a great question. Growing up in this remote fishing village in Chugiak, Alaska, you never would think you'd end up as a comedian on the mainland. And
In the frozen tundra.
Yeah, I remember one day I grabbed into an ice hole that we had cut to fish from, and I grabbed a salmon, and I looked right in
A what?
a salmon. You don't know the salmon?
See, it's evident he grew up there.
Yeah. Oh, that's the way we have many words for salmon in Alaskan culture. Salmon is one of them. Samlan is another one. And I looked him right in the eye and I said, I'm going to be a star. And you know what that fish said back to me? Nothing. Fish don't talk. That's crazy that you even waited for an answer. And none of that is true. But I grew up in LA. And here's the thing. I'm an LA boy. I'm an island boy. Remember that?
Island Boys.
Sure do.
Something about my childhood a lot of people don't, and made me want to do this. That's a good twist on the question, is that my parents, both funny people in completely opposite ways. My mom, very dry, sarcastic, quiet, observational kind of humor, very sarcastic. And my dad was very goofy, funny, outlandish, loved to like be broad and big to make people laugh. And so I just kind of developed both parts of that humor. And then my parents were also just big lovers of comedy. So I was watching George Carlin's specials since I was a kid.
Right.
Like way ahead of when you're supposed to be watching.
Love George
Yeah.
Carlin.
Stuff like that. Like there
That's
was a
cool.
joke on the album I had memorized, Playing With Your Head album. My brother introduced me to my brother on. And there's one joke, I literally didn't even understand it for like 20 years. The joke goes, I never fucked a 10, but one night I got real drunk and fucked 5 2s. And I didn't even get what that meant until I was like in college. I'm like, oh, he was rated the scale of hotness. Got it.
So how much did you get when you?
I got most of it.
Did you?
That was
Okay.
one of the only jokes I didn't get, but
Okay,
I did
yeah.
get most of it,
Cool.
I think. And it corrupted my brain. I blame him. And I blame one of the greats. And then also, you know, my parents made the great mistake of, I had a bedtime like any kid, but I had a little TV in my room and they never asked me to turn my TV off. So to this day, I'm still a horrendous night owl. I went to bed at 6 a.m. this morning, but I would watch TV. I didn't have to turn my TV off. So I would watch TV till like 2 a.m. every night as like a elementary and high school kid.
Pretty loose.
It was loose.
I hope you still have that TV
Yeah.
that
I
inspired
do not.
this.
I wish, because I remember in the early days of like Skinamax and HBO sexy late night B porn films,
Yeah.
they didn't pay for it, but it would be that like fuzzed out
Yeah.
footage, and like you would hear the audio though. They couldn't scramble the audio, so that was great. Which I think is why to this day I'm
When the
more
music
turned
just-
on auditorily than even certain things. I'm like, well, that's a hot thing to hear. And then occasionally it would like squelch, and you'd see a boob for a second, like the
Right.
shape of a
Oh,
boob
and
was
that
like a
was-
futuristic fuzzy boob.
That'll do it.
It'll
Boob.
do it.
Yeah.
I would
A
wait.
boob
I
will
would.
do
I
you.
would wait for the
Little boob will
bush. I would wait for the bush.
You'd
Tony,
wait for the bush. You prefer
I would-
like an unshaved.
Oh, nobody had
downstairs.
shaved at that time on Cinemax.
Well,
I
that's
don't
not
think.
true. If nobody had shaved. How old were you? How old are you? Are you 60?
I'm 24.
When were you growing up? You're 24. You
Yeah,
look it.
I
You
know,
look
I
it.
look
That's
it.
a nice way to respond.
Thank you.
Tony. We're
See,
we're-
you could learn something here.
Children of the 80s.
We're forever
Yeah.
students,
Yeah.
as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forever students.
I like that.
But I want to. But Tony had a weird thing as a kid that he shared with us on an episode where he and his brother would go into the stores and
TJ
they would
Maxx.
and they would rip off the bra tags,
And that would be our porn.
and that would be their porn because I guess you put it under a microscope or you had just fighter pilot vision.
Nah, dude.
But the bra tags would have like
They were like baseball cards. We just had collections of
the
them.
bra tags would have the bosom.
they would have
on
like
it?
a little image of the the bosom.
They were like baseball card collector's items.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I do
Bra
have to leave
cards,
now. I gotta
tops
go.
and bra cards. After the episode,
That's
let's go to
weird,
TJ Maxx.
and-
I love
Yeah.
TJ Maxx.
That's right.
Prices are low.
That's
at
right.
TJ Maxx, and you can tear off our bra tags.
You're going to keep going.
Dirty boys, TJ Maxx, jerking off to these bra tags.
Woo.
That was their original song.
good. Yeah.
And then they know it
Oh, I
was
know.
encouraging deviant
Oh, I
behavior.
know.
That's a really great idea, actually.
I like what's happening here. It's a little inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My childhood thing was we had our neighborhood video store, and it had back in the day actual video stores, first of all. So if you wanted to look at porn,
used
it
to
was
work
the
in
most
one.
embarrassing. Really?
Yeah.
Which one? What's the name?
Oh, Andover Video.
Did they have the barn doors? Did they have the wooden barn doors for the porn section?
No,
You
no
didn't
porn,
have that. So
no
my
porn section.
neighborhood one had that.
Okay.
And I'm a kid. I'm like in high school, and like you have to look around and like walk in there when no one's looking, and just like I never even obviously rented anything, so I wasn't probably allowed to. But I'm looking at the covers, these crazy things. There always be one dude in there looking at things too. So like you're in there, you're a kid in there with some weird older man that's also picking up like way too many videos in his hand, and you try to avoid him. But
Barn doors is like an invitation for the
No,
animals.
but that's, I do remember.
That's
I know what
crazy.
you're
It
talking
is.
about.
It's an invitation
I know
for
what
the
you're
animals.
talking
Yeah,
about.
swinging barn doors
Yeah.
into the adult section. And also, you're going through barn doors. You feel like you're a cowboy walking into a saloon. Like I'm walking in like, all right, let's go, fellas.
What'll it be? What'll it be? What can I
What'll
get for
it
you?
be? Would you care for some
Those big ones.
sarsaparilla and poontang? I don't know. I've never used that word in my life. But it seems like what a cowboy would refer to
Yeah.
a beautiful vagina as.
Right.
I'm about to go get me some poontang. Why do I say that? I was trying to be classy, guys. One of my favorite porn films growing up was Whores and Wells. It's they would.
Oh, it's a classic. Was it
Pull
the
the ocean in the
overweight?
basket. It was strange. Were they overweight? Why would they be overweight? No, you can only fit then one or two into a well.
I
Horse
want,
and
I
Wells.
want this to be a true
Oh.
story.
See, that's not true.
Come on, lotion in the basket.
Put the lotion in the basket.
It rubs the lotion on its skin. It does this whenever it's told.
One of the great memes and gifs in the last like 10 years.
And by the way, whores could be men, for the record, before I get letters. Whores could be men. Men whores are a
Handwritten
thing.
letters.
What's that?
Handwritten.
By the way,
Letters. You know someone's really angry at you when they're like, "Dearest sir," with a quill and just licking the
another calligraphy
tip of the
letter.
quill.
That's it.
Sorry,
oh my my God.
Well, what do you love? Do you love crowd work? Do you love to just have it all in the back of your mind and stay on track? Do you like to go off and improv? Is there one that you that lights you up a little bit more when you're?
The crowd work lights me up the most. I mean, I can never do all of it, even though I do sometimes advertise or just randomly decide to do it when I'm headlining on the road. I'll do the whole hour, all improv, all 100% crowd work. I do love to do that, but I can't ever fully abandon material because I'm also somebody that wants to share my thoughts with the world. That's why I got into being a comedian. But more than that, I just love to make people laugh, and I love to make myself kind of laugh, even though I don't laugh out loud when I'm doing crowd work. But internally, I'm like, that's pretty funny. That's a funny thing. Oh, this will be a good way to take this, because it's the one time I don't know what I'm going to say either. So it's a full new experience for me. Like I'm an audience member at my own show, kind of, and it's just the riskiest thing. And I think I love the adrenaline of like
so
diving
risky.
in, and I have no idea literally what they're going to say, where I'm going to take it. But somehow it works out pretty darn well because I'm pretty known for my crowd work. So I love it very much. I really enjoy doing it. And but the only thing that I'm starting to, as I become a little bit more sensitive in my older years, as I approach 30, is it's starting to feel a little mean to me sometimes. I'm like, okay, also like I could have someone tell me what they do for a living and just be like, good for you. That's beautiful. Instead of being like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Right. Suddenly you chose the person in the crowd who's seriously on the
Right.
spectrum, and you're like, I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm just not going to go there today.
No, I just had an entire interaction with this autistic man in one of my audiences for about 15 minutes. We're releasing the clip soon.
Wow.
And it was really great. I mean, hopefully people aren't offended when I release it, but I
By
don't
the
think
end of it,
so.
he was no longer on the spectrum.
Correct.
Well, let's
I
talk
kind of
about-
shocked him out of it, but no, I mean, because here's the thing: you can make fun of
Yeah.
anything as long as you're not being hurtful in the way people
That's
get
right.
Yeah.
sensitive, thinking that you can't talk about topics. You talk about any topic,
Right.
as long as what the content of what you're saying. People sometimes reflexively, when people get like too woke, they're like, "Oh my god, he mentioned a thing I'm not comfortable hearing about." Well, then
Right.
you're way too sensitive because you can explore any topic. Like the first joke I made, this kid was sitting in the audience, and I just see this guy like shaking his foot aggressively. I'm like, wow, you're shaking your foot aggressively. And he goes, I'm autistic. And I go, is that one of the symptoms? I'm pretty sure that's not one of the trademark symptoms. I think you're just blaming your autism on your
This
weird
tick, your
quirk.
foot tick.
Your foot tick.
And that's an interesting thing because my son has autism, and we actually
You're gonna bring him to Ben's
we
show.
actually haven't told him yet. He's 7, so we're working on figuring out how to tell him about that because he's already been diagnosed with ADHD and he's already started to say, well, I have ADHD. So using that as something to fall back on as an excuse. And I want to be really, really careful not to. And so it's just like when you say, it's like you can start, oh, well, I'm this way because of this. Or
Right.
I'm, coming up with reasons or excuses. Well, I have this, so you just got to deal with it, or that's why,
Right. Yeah, people will like use those things as crutches too much, I think. But the good thing is that society's evolved to where people can use these things as not crutches. There's a healthy way where you can use it, where people just understand you more and they respect. Oh, okay, that explains this thing I'm seeing that's a little bit out of the ordinary. So that's a nice part of it, instead of people just thinking that guy's weird or whatever.
Something super impressive to me was watching your address to Charlie Kirk's death. That pulled me. But I get emotional sometimes because you like really went there in a really serious way because you had an interaction with him prior.
Yeah.
So how does that? How do you feel? How do you feel today about that whole situation?
Yeah, that's a good question. That was a beautiful and very serious tonal shift. I love that because I just got really emotional seeing you say that. Yeah, I debated Charlie Kirk on abortion in his studio in Arizona years before his death, and it became like one of the biggest memes. The dolphin fetus moment. Kind of followed him for the rest of his life, and people would always throw that in his face because he's so known for debating. So I think that's fair game. He made his career off of debating others and making others feel a little silly or stupid in different moments, or wrong at least. And so that turnabout felt fair play on that for sure. And I'm still, very proud of the debate and very proud of the moment. And he certainly was too. He had the video, he still has the video, Turning Point USA have it still on their page as well, the full debate. But I mean, obviously, firstly, the obvious thing, nobody ever deserves to be the victim of violence, to be attacked, to be murdered. It was one of the most shocking things I've ever experienced in my life. It's, I'm so sorry to Charlie's family and to all of his supporters and fans. Waking up to that news was shocking. Like, I've certainly never personally known anybody who was assassinated before. It was really so sad. And, we live in a culture now where we're so divided. The algorithmic divide just keeps us at odds all the time. And I'm trying to do some work lately to unwind that and to bring us together more.
That's hugely valuable and important.
What does that work look
that
like?
You're around.
It looks like, well, let me just say one last thought about Charlie before I answer that part of it. But, so Charlie was polarizing, and some of the things he said I do not stand behind, of course, from my perspective, and some of his supporters stand by everything he said. That doesn't matter. It's about discourse in this country. And to his great credit, he did dedicate himself to debate. So he was giving air to the other side, to the other opinion. And he let people speak. He didn't shout people down either. So I have great respect for that, that he did that. And so that work for me looks like, I in the past have what was really sucked into that two-party system, into that polarization. And I was guilty of also demonizing the other side, like, very blanketly. And I don't do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. I still have a gig occasionally where my commentary is more focused on the other side, but I've changed the way I speak. I don't use derogatory terms. I don't castigate whole groups of people. I mean, I was always conscious about that. I never castigated groups of people, but like groups by choice, like political groups, you certainly can comment on. But the biggest way that looks to me is in creating my late night talk show. Excuse me. I didn't want to be like a lot of what late night has become, which is so partisan and one-sided that nobody on the other side likes you, listens to your show, watches it. And it's not only a bad idea as far as an audience perspective, but it's also counterproductive to your goal. Like, are you trying to just preach to the choir and whine every night, or are you trying to have conversation? And so I hope I can succeed at this, because there will be things that I am very political minded and very passionate about the world and about politics. And so I'm sure there will be times where I have to take stands on things and make comments on things. But as a general, I want the show to be very welcoming to everybody. I want to make fun of both sides. And I want
There's a lot to make fun of on both sides.
100%.
Well, and I want to speak to that because the comedy is so important. We live in a day now where everyone is so empty. And by that, I mean, everyone's looking for like, what's exhausted me? Who said this? And that's so polarizing. I'm going to torch you back. And it's like, we're not living in the fullness. If we lived in the fullness, whether you're whatever side of the aisle you're on, whatever you believe in religiously, spiritually, emotionally, you could still say, well, that's fucking funny. And we need that. And that's actually okay that they have that opinion, instead of constantly feeling so empty that a comedian makes a joke and somebody takes offense, or somebody says, well, this is just my opinion. And they go, oh, to hell with you, you fucking baby killer. It's wild. You're doing your thing. Comedians constantly going out there and saying, I'm not going to be betrayed because I might get canceled or somebody's going to have a strong reaction.
Yeah, I mean, for a while it made most comedians pretty, like, a little bit tighter, on stage. And the last part of what I'm trying to do is also just have conversations with people from both sides. I'm going to have roundtables, people of opposing perspectives on, to try to talk, to understand people from other perspective. Dennis Prager, who has, really been going through a hard time lately as well. Who's this?
I don't know who that is.
Prager University. He's a very prominent conservative that created this. And I saw him once. I was covering for NPR at the DNC, I think it was. And he was there covering it, I think. And I saw him at the airport, and he was reading this book about democratic thinking. And I was like, that's interesting, you're reading a book about democratic. He goes, yeah, I already know what my side thinks. And so I thought that was really cool. But it's true, for a while we got tight. I'm so glad it's opened back up again. The opening joke of my last released special. I have a new one coming soon called Endings, but the last one, The Mad King, my first joke, I come out and I talk to the crowd and I'm like, it's good to see everybody. How are you? It's great. Can I get you anything? Comedians can't, we just have to ask questions. We can't have opinions anymore. I said, forgive us if we're a little bit slower up here these days. We just have to put everything we say through a quick filter of, will this ruin my life?
Right. Yeah.
So give us a moment.
Yeah.
But that's opened up again, and I feel really completely free again. Not to excuse, it's not, you can't say everything, nor should you be able to, but you should be able to say most things.
Yeah. You hear kids say, one day I'm going to be the president.
Yeah.
Was that ever you? Given that you did run for president?
Uh-huh. It was me as a kid, actually. Yeah.
Right.
I did only, the thought got put in my head. I was a very patriotic kid in third grade when my third grade teacher, Mr. Jacobson, had a record player, and each morning.
Did he teach you how to fish for the salmon?
Samlan.
Samlan. I'll get there.
I remember it said, why not? And I knew I had a future in comedia.
Yes.
Un futuro en comedia porque la pesca dice a mí, why not? You understand? But
Sí, claro.
Mr. Jacobson had a record player, and each morning another student would get to choose the song. Every single time I'd choose Star Spangled Banner for the whole year. Very patriotic kid, but just one day I was like standing in the auditorium in class, and my friend Zach Friedman looks at me and he goes, this is so weird. I'm getting a vision right now of you as the president of the United States. And when he said that, I put that thought in my head, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then I, put that away for many decades. But then this is the good example, though. So I ran for president in 2019 for the 2020 election.
Were you dead serious about this?
Dead serious.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I beat Kamala Harris in Coos County, New Hampshire. After both of our campaigns ended, we were still both on the ballot there. I was speaking at events with Biden and Kamala and Bernie Sanders and every major candidate.
Wow.
And Larry King had me on, and he said at the end of the interview, he started the interview by going like, Ben, you're not going to become president of the United States. And I'm like,
Larry.
Really, Larry? Nobody told me this. And then at the end of the interview, he's like, Ben, you're the kind of American we need.
That sounds like Larry.
It was, and he died shortly after. So I think it was my fault probably, but he hit a low journalistically, and he couldn't live anymore. Rest in
Ben
peace,
killed
though.
Larry King.
Yes. Oh my God.
So, no, he was wonderful, a real icon. I got to have breakfast with him once too. It was really cool. But yeah, but I'm so proud of what I did. It was the hardest thing I ever did. It was the most different thing I ever did. It was a real challenging thing. I always refer to running for president is like being put on trial for your life, and you need to not only prove to the jury that you're innocent, but that they should hire you as their life coach. Like, you're literally like, everybody's trying to take you down constantly, and then you're trying to convince them that you can inspire them and help them. It's wild.
It does seem like it would be the worst job. I get it would be a great job, is the value put on it and the obligation, but it seems like it'd be a terrible fucking job.
I think that's what Jon Stewart kind of says, because I've always thought like, oh my God.
Yeah, and I love Obama's approach. Like when he was done, people would want him to weigh in on, who's in office. He's like, man, I did there. I don't have an opinion on that anymore. Like, I don't want to go back to that.
I mean, it's definitely one of the most intense jobs, maybe the most intense job humanly possible, for sure. I don't know that Trump always takes it that intensely. He's like, listen, I know we're at war, but I want to build a beautiful arch and a great wing, and here's the drawings. The other day I was drawing with my Sharpie on, a lot of people are saying it's really one of the great, it's one of the great drawings. I'm like, we're at war currently. It's like, I'm on the golf course and then doing drawings at night. And then Obama's like, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay.
Awesome.
But I don't think the job would be terrible. It would be amazing. And I think to be able to help guide the country and the planet to the future in a way that's based in morality and based in, what truly you believe is the best for people and to help the largest number of people in the long term is a really beautiful task. The horrible job is running for president. It was the greatest honor of my life because everybody like opens up their problems to you instantly, and a lot of people are really hurting and need help and need support and need relief, and they're searching for a leader that really can help that. It was crazy. Like, I'm a comedian running for president. All of a sudden, I meet somebody, and within a minute, they're like, I witnessed a school shooting. My school had this issue. My husband has cancer and can't leave his job because he's going to lose his health care because he only has employer-based health care and it won't transfer. It's like major problems and they're like desperate for someone to help fix them. So that was the beautiful part of running for president. But it's like you're building a company, a full large-scale corporation out in the public eye at every moment under incredible scrutiny. And people also want to make sure you're not full of shit. And so
It's so true.
it's
The
really
build up
intense.
to it
Right.
is so intense.
Really intense.
And
You're doing
then
it with like very little money. Once you become president, you got a budget at least.
and then if you get elected, you're like, well, that was fucking exhausting. That was the job, and then you're thrust into the 4-year job.
Yeah, but that part at least you got airplanes and budgets and a whole military
You get
and
some
a whole
you get some perks.
cabinet and a lot of people helping you do shit. You just have to like make the big decisions. You don't have to be like necessarily granularly the one coming up with the plans for everything, which is what makes it, I think, easier. You just have to be good at making big decisions.
What does being a man and a good man look like to you?
That's a great question. I think that I really pride myself on making sure that the way I carry myself would make my dad and my grandparents, my dad and my grandfathers proud of the kind of man that I am. I mean, of course, my mom and my grandmothers too. But just from a male perspective, I think they were both incredible role models. Especially my dad's dad, Joseph, because I knew him much more, and my dad as well. My late dad just showed me a kind of masculinity that was both strong but vulnerable, was serious and confident and go-getting, but also kind and empathetic. And
Can you give a really like a good example of that? I know it might be hard to do
No,
is there like a story or something?
well, there's just moments that pop into my brain, like my grandfather Joseph, rest in peace, who literally was in a labor camp in Siberia during World War II and lived the full American dream and cobbled together, reuniting with my grandma and eventually ending up in America and becoming like very successful in business after like grinding and surviving the harshest things in this planet, losing his whole family in the Holocaust. And he was in the last couple of years of his life, he decided he wanted to become so close with his grandkids. He would take my brother and I separately to lunch once a week. And already in high school, like my senior year of high school, and it was the last year of my grandfather's life. So I'm so glad I asked him because I respected him so much. And I said, Grandpa, like, I know you obviously like wish that I would do some professional industry that would, be more guaranteed to make me a lot of money. But I've just had in my heart my whole life the need to be a comedian and to pursue this career. And if it's in my heart, don't I have to do it? And without hesitating, he goes, yes, you have to. Not a lot of old world grandparents would say that.
Yeah.
So that's an example. And my dad just being emotional, especially like later in his life, and being willing to cry in front of you and being willing to just wear your heart on your sleeve, not just your balls on the table, but sometimes also your heart on your sleeve is important too. Both. You can do both. It's
You
incredible.
can do both at the same time. Was
really
he
good.
not when you were younger? Or
No, he was. He always was. He was always a very sweet man, just lovely. And the other thing that is important as a man is just caring about your family more than anything. All my parents and grandparents embodied that to a T. But, my dad specifically, it's just like getting to be soft is strength. It's like soft power is like, it's really nice to, false bravado is being tough in a rigid exterior at all times where you can't show emotion. That actually is the softest, most fragile, most in a bad way, like weakness. If you can't, you have to always have a bravado because clearly that means you're afraid if somebody cracks it a tiny bit, there's nothing there, it's a shell.
Right.
But if you can be malleable enough where you can like admit you're wrong and change your opinion and still be strong and confident, that's what a real man is. That's the way to be a true, solid, confident, beautiful human being, I think. And, you know, it leads to beautiful moments too, like that vulnerability that my dad was easily able to show led to me being able to say goodbye to him before he passed, even though we didn't know he was going to pass and he didn't know. And, you know, you don't always have to have a moment of goodbye right before somebody passes. It doesn't have to be so overt, as long as you get to express the love of your life together. And so my dad really wanted to watch. This was like 2.5 months before he died. He just kind of randomly passed away, and he really wanted to watch Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio with me. And so I'm a man in my 40s. The cat's out of the bag on that. And I'm sitting in my parents' living room, and for the last 20 minutes of the movie, I was holding both of my parents' hands. And in the moment of the movie when Geppetto, Pinocchio's father, dies, my dad and I both just burst into tears at that moment. And we both got to experience, while holding each other's hand, how much we loved each other and how sad we both would be when he would pass. And that was all the goodbye that we needed. So
That's beautiful that you guys had that
I think
moment.
that's being a man too.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So that
Great
shit's
answer.
tough, though.
Yeah.
Is that a good answer?
That's amazing.
I just made the
answer.
whole thing up, so I hope that was effective.
I was waiting for it.
I did not. That was obviously true.
Well, it was a great true
look,
story.
I love
The goodbyes are important, but you're right.
Yeah.
Like living.
I never
li-
cried on a podcast before, but I got welled up on that.
Oh,
You almost burst the seal on me.
we almost cracked it.
Who, you, Barbara Walters? Damn.
Jeff Probst over
I
here.
have no experience either. Like I've not. It's not like I
Great,
do.
dude.
You know.
Is there a lucky person in your life? Are you in a relationship?
Yeah, I am. And so, yeah, I've met the love of my life, and
Amazing.
I'm quite happy about it. I think what women want is that. I think women definitely want a strong, confident man who can provide, who can protect, who can be there for them. Those are the things we've known for a long time and have been commonly accepted. And I don't think that's gone away. And I think it has gone away for a lot of men, though, because, and to some degree, it's been hard for it not to, because there has been so much attacking of men in recent years that
Yeah.
it's hard to, make a move, to say a thing, to flirt. It has been more challenging, but again, an important correction as well. But women also want a man that can be vulnerable. Women really love it, from my experience.
Mhm.
They find it very attractive. So I don't mind crying in front. Lately, I've been crying in front of my girl. She jokes that like she's about to have her period, and I'm getting emotional. I'm getting all of her symptoms through like sympathy pain. It's so strange. And I'll like cry. She's like, "I'm on my period. It's me." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I feel you, baby." But and just to be there. I think a woman really wants to be heard more than
Yeah.
anything, and wants to be supported, and wants an emotionally regulated man. Something that I've had to learn and develop a lot. And this incredible woman, Bhavna, that I met on a rooftop in West Palm Beach at the Eudaimonia Summit pre-happy hour that I was hosting, and I got off stage and I looked across the rooftop, and I, from like 50 feet away, just had this instant
Locked
connection
in.
with this woman. And that exact moment I thought, oh, this is going to be trouble. My life, I think, just like changed. I was like, what is this moment? And trouble in a good way. A John Lewis kind of good trouble. Anyway, the rest is history, but we've only been dating for 5 months, and it's just, but because it was long distance and she lived so far away, she just very kindly kept coming out to LA and staying with me, and she didn't have a place to stay here. So we were essentially living together each time she'd come out, and we were spending every second together. Like, we just love each other's company so much. We don't leave each other's side almost. And so like she would stay for a month, and we're spending 30 days straight together, and then another month and 30 days straight together. And so our relationship has like evolved very quickly, and we were in this honeymoon phase up until like very recently, where we started having our first disagreements. And for the first time in my life, I was able to have disagreements in a relationship and none of it led to fights. We were able to just openly communicate, hear each other deeply out.
That's
and give-
amazing. What's
give-
the secret to that?
It's to give your partner the benefit of the doubt. It's to not assume the worst. It's sort of like what we were talking about earlier as well with social media. It's people just assume, they lose the humanity. And the further removed you are, the further you are internally, the further you are from putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. We assume when someone is being insensitive or doing something insensitive that they have the intention to hurt us, and they all of a sudden become evil. We're like, you're doing something, you must be just trying to hurt me. No, why would someone that loves you try to hurt you suddenly, unless they are just like a really rude person, which happens occasionally. But if they are a kind person that you know loves you, they're just triggered. There's something in their life, in their past, that is making them respond that way. And so if you give them the benefit of the doubt and realize there must be some reason they're responding that way, let's be really committed to solving it and hearing each other out. And not one of our disagreements has turned into a fight. And once I saw that happen a handful of times in the course of just 2 weeks recently, is when I asked her to move in with me. And so she's moving in with me in a couple of weeks.
Oh, congrats.
Congrats, man. That's
That
amazing.
that is amazing. But
That's
that's so
awesome.
true. That's really good advice, man.
Yeah.
Don't allow yourself to be offended. Just hold space
Right.
and have a discussion and understand that, okay, where's this coming from?
How important is it for a woman to really, truly, and honestly appreciate what you do professionally?
I think it's important. I don't by any means need my partner to like go to all my shows or even go that often to my shows. I tell them, this is me going to work, babe. Like, you don't have to come. Like, I don't follow you to work either. You're always welcome. It'd be weird if I followed them to work. You know what I mean?
Check the commitment.
Yeah, how's the dental office going? You know, mind if I just observe these patients here? You know,
I
but
like it.
and my new girl's not a dental, doesn't work in the dental field, thank goodness. But it is important, I think, that you respect what your partner does with their life and that you appreciate them, and that you like what they do, and that you think they are talented at what they do. Because if not, it's just going to lead to, lack of respect for each other if you truly don't believe in the person's, skills and what they're dedicating their life to. And so
true.
Yeah.
If someone's trying to change, you're like, well, maybe not. How long is this dream going
Right.
to be your
How long is this
thing?
dream gonna be
But
your
it
thing?
also comes back to a lot of trying to sort out what part of your professional life represents who you are.
Everything I've chosen to do in my life is about broadcasting to people, whether it's in stand-up or in TV hosting. It's always a microphone that just represents to me the ability to connect to people, connect to the masses, and try to get your work out there to bring joy to people around the world. And
And you do it. So
Thank
and
you,
you're
man.
doing a hell of a job,
Thank
man.
you.
Ben, we want you to scan that and pick one theme, one that sticks out to you. We always say would go with like first or second reaction, and we'll unpack it a little bit.
I mean, the thing that popped out to me the most interestingly is things we don't admit.
Let's admit some of those things. Let's talk about some of that.
I can't. I don't admit them. Good night, everybody.
Trickery.
That's a wrap.
Another one is the friend group, just popped into my brain too. But things we don't admit, the one that popped in my head the most with regards to that is that we put such importance on everything we do. And even despite this realization that I know deeply, I still try so hard and work so hard. And I'm building this company, which is this late night show. And it's constant, like all-nighters and crazy work. And I have a billion open tabs in my brain at all times. And I'm like agonizing sometimes over every decision and every aspect of everything, and really working a lot harder than I need to be. But I feel like I need to be. But the thing we don't admit is that none of it matters. We put such importance on it. It is our only one life, so of course we want it to be good, but we're literally floating on a marble in outer space.
Exactly.
We're a little speck on a little speck in a vast, unknowable universe. And so like we don't admit that like the meaning we give to things, like it can give beauty to our lives, but I don't think there's a great cosmic importance to any one thing we do, to any one mission we take. But also, I could be wrong on that. Maybe it's exactly what fuels the universe, but we just don't know it, and we act like we know a lot of the answers. We don't admit that we don't know the answers. Religions like to tell you that they know exactly what it is, and I like a more open-ended, humble approach to know that I've always said religions would do a lot better if they just put an asterisk by what they do and just say we think.
Right.
We have a hunch,
Yeah.
but we don't.
Studies have shown.
Right.
Yeah, but they talk like they know this for a fact,
Right.
and then pass the hat around and try to get you to put your cash in so they can buy more golden doorknobs. And the point is,
Yeah.
So we don't admit that is one.
Well, I'm hearing a little like, so when will you be ready to take the foot off the accelerator and give,
Never.
and no, in terms of control and handing some more responsibility, because it sounds like it's all the tabs open is like I tell Evan all the time, I was like, no, nobody takes care of your business better than you. Right. So at what point do you start to bring more people in, trust, and sort of give more hand tasks off to other people and take a foot off the accelerator work control?
That's a good question, but it's a hard answer because you kind of have to feel it and see it
No,
before you
maybe
can do that.
maybe you don't. I'm just curious if
and trust more. I mean, we're recording this a bit earlier than it's going to be released because you guys kindly agreed to release it when my show is out. But I'm in the hiring process now, and so my team is still miniature, and it will be expanding a bit in the coming weeks, and then hopefully it'll be easier. It will be easier at that point, but it'll never be easy because the buck stops with me, and I'm it's really ultimately my name and my face on the thing, and so I need to build it in the way that and it's my vision, and so nobody else can really execute your vision, but they can certainly help you execute your vision, and you need help.
Great bridge to the other theme that caught your eye was friendships, friend groups. Do you have a good group of guys in your life that you can consistently rely on?
It's really interesting. I mean, yes, my two best friends, one from high school and one from college, Scott and Jason, are guys I can rely on without a doubt at all times, always. So that's beautiful. And thanks for reminding me about them, because when I first saw it, my instinct was to think like, it's something that has been a little frustrating about adult life is that I have a lot of friends. I'm really fortunate to have a lot of friends, but I sometimes get moments of wondering like, how deep are those friendships really? Generally speaking, most of my closer friends are women and not men. Weirdly, like I don't have really a lot of close friends in comedy, but especially I don't really have any close friends who are male comedians. Like, yes, two of my closest friends.
Why do you think that
are
is?
female comedians, and then a third fairly close. Why do I think that is? I just think male comedians sometimes are, maybe guys in general too, but especially maybe comedians are less vulnerable, are more about the hang, are more about literally let's watch sports and have beers and just like kind of barely talk, and like I'm just more of a talker and a communicator, and I like to connect more deeply, and I like to dissect the world, and like weirdly I've found that a lot of male comedians don't, that's not the vibe really when you hang out, or at least the ones that I've like. So I've good buddies, good friends that are comedians, but I just don't seek out hanging out with them that much.
That's so interesting. I never thought of that, but that's a good point. Like I imagine if all these incredible, doesn't matter success level, but incredibly talented comedians got together, and these guys, like how deep could they go? Is it just the joke on the joke and the outdo and the outdo and pick up, or can they actually dismiss that?
Well, it's not even that much of that. It's not that much joking around. I mean, some comedians we like to riff together, but when Rick Glassman and I hang out, it's definitely lots of shticking and lots of improvising together. That's his favorite, but and I love it too. But check out my episode of Take Your Shoes Off. But it's just, I don't know. It's just like my dad especially also loved so much sports, and I just don't love it that much. Like I'll watch occasionally. I care about the Dodgers a little bit because my dad loved them, but like I don't understand like going to someone's house, sitting down, having beers, and like watching a game of other people play a game that's not me playing it, and then
you can't really talk.
Yeah, you can't really talk, and like you can because it's like a game, and it's more about the visuals. But like I'll try to talk, and they'll be like, yeah, that's an interesting thing. Yeah, cool. Right.
You make another point that just made me think of something like there are like guys who watch porn together or guys who go
there are?
to script.
Where are you getting that?
No, there's just,
we're back to the TJ Maxx tags. What do you mean, guys who watch porn together?
I have so many questions.
No,
really?
there are. I haven't, but there are
Okay,
guys.
I've never
who
heard of this, so I don't think.
Oh, really?
I don't think it's a thing. I think you have.
It's a thing. All right.
I haven't,
Let's
but
go to
let's
go to
maybe
something a
there
little
are.
bit more familiar. Guys who get together and they go, "Let's go to the strip club."
Yeah, true.
Okay. So why? Like,
Yeah, some comedian had that joke recently. Let's get hard together. Like what a strange.
Let's get hard.
Let's get hard together if we can, guys. What do you
Why
say?
would you want
They
to
can't
do
come
that?
on this podcast.
Yeah, or
but
anywhere.
What,
Or
but
anywhere.
what is that? But what is that? Like, why? What that's
I
a
don't-
thing. I mean, it's a hey,
I
let's
think
go
it's
to-
Well,
think it's
watch how hard I can get.
I think it's
I mean,
a checkout thing. I think it's an avoidance thing, actually. It's
okay.
almost like I don't want to deal with what's going on in my life. I've never heard anybody go, life's so fucking great. We are crushing it. Let's go to the titty bar and look
don't
at
know
some.
if that's true.
Like,
I don't
let's
know
look
if
at
that's
this.
true.
That's just- no,
I've
people
only
will
heard,
celebrate.
truthfully, I've only heard when you're young, but older guys our age, I've had friends reach out and go, maybe we just need to hit Spearmint Rhino. And I'm like, and it's not like full depravity, but it's not, let's go celebrate over this great thing.
Right. I mean, yeah. No, I don't know. I think it's a fine. It's not,
Maybe I
don't-
need
I
better
don't really like
friends.
strip clubs. Yeah. I don't really like strip clubs that much, but I'll once in a blue go if I'm invited. I think it's fun to go with a woman to a strip club. That's a much more interesting experience.
Totally.
But I think mostly guys just go together because they don't have girls to go with. They don't have girls in their lives at the moment, or they're escaping from women in their lives, and it's a chance to just they're like hang with
Get
the
hard
boys and
together.
Get hard together, man. Get hard together. Walk hard, rock hard. That said, also about sports, I recently, I do like it when it's like the World Series. That's exciting.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
When my Dodgers are 2 back-to-back World Series, and I had people over my house for Game 7 of the World Series. I had like 15 people in my theater, and Dodgers won the most exciting game ever, and it was like one of the most epic moments fucking ever. And my dad was there with us, and I was not. He was there with us in spirit, and it was like magical.
That's awesome.
So Woody Allen once said that he laments that art can't nearly as easily create the emotions and the intensity and the drama and the suspense that sports can create on the regular. So that's a nice argument for sports, but I think quite in moderation is
There's
fine.
a reason a lot of guys we talk about sports movies, that they'll feel that thing because they don't know how to feel in their everyday life. So
Right.
they'll watch those and then they're like, I'm feeling this thing.
And the only sports movies I've ever cared about is like Field of Dreams, which is like more about the father-son relationship and all these beautiful things. And
Tony's a big fan. We brought this up the other day.
Great
movie.
movie.
I like Ben's Dodger story, but with his friends and dad. My Dodger story, I took Taylor, who kindly introduced us to Ben, to introduce us to you. I took my brother to the Dodgers World Series Game 7 in 2017, and he got us kicked out. In the 6th inning because he wanted to practice his
Did
comedy
he expose
routine.
himself again?
Almost. He wanted to
Jesus.
practice his comedy routine by yelling profanities and expletives that were completely inappropriate. To the point where they were like,
that's Taylor doing that?
that's
Yeah.
Taylor. Shout out to Taylor. And they asked us quickly and quietly to leave.
Wow.
Yeah. World Series Game 7.
What a bummer. This is 2017?
Yeah, it was the Astros smashed us, so it was okay. It was kind of that. It was that great series where it was
Right.
6 awesome games, and then the 7th game was kind of like a. So it didn't
And they
matter.
were cheating. The Astros were cheating in that series.
We hadn't found out yet. That we found
Yeah.
out after the fact, but yeah, and we got kicked out.
And sometimes crowds are just like not smart and they're not sharp. And they like don't know what to laugh at. And you need someone that like is savvy enough to laugh. Like I remember I took a date to a show at the Hollywood Bowl. It's Netflix, it's a joke festival show. There was a comedian on stage, and I remember the specific moment, and I was stoned, so I could really notice it. I was in the middle, halfway back in the Hollywood Bowl, and there's like 15,000 people there or something, 20,000 people. And the comedian told a hilarious joke, and there's a silence for like a half second or 1 second. And I laughed hard. and
donkey
it
laugh.
created the ripple instantly.
right.
It gave people permission to know that was
Yeah.
funny.
Oh wow.
And like literally, like you're that much of a factor in the performance. The audience is very key. You really need like an audience
Yeah.
that's there
I
to
hope
laugh.
that guy zelled you after the show.
He did not, and I knew him too, and I texted him.
Yeah, he should have.
And the Zelle request is, or the Venmo request is sitting there unaccepted.
I'm a dad. Evan's a
I'm
dad.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that something
appreciate
that
it,
you would like in your life?
Yeah, I've been torn on the issue.
You strike me as you'd be a great dad.
I was gonna say. I was
Thanks.
gonna say that. And given the stories that you,
Right.
you know, the representation of a good father, you've got that. So
Thank you.
you've got that inside you. So yeah, and we need good people in the world. So
That's very sweet. Thank you. I mean, I have a question for you then of advice for me, because I do want to be a father. I kind of have a hard time picturing going through my whole life without a child, and I'm already like a lot older by a couple decades than my dad was when he had me. My mom too, she was in the room. And from what I understand.
I think that's how it
I got that one
I think so.
a
I think that's how it
millisecond
works,
later
yeah.
than you did, but it was so good.
And I know I would be a great dad, and I would love raising a child and like teaching them how to live in this world, and how to be a good person, and seeing them develop a sense of humor and develop kindness and develop everything would be beautiful. I know it would be rewarding beyond belief and magical. I just can't wrap my head around the amount of time. I do have ADD and the amount of distraction, and I already have a hard enough time with my dog being distracted constantly from my focus. And I guess I could just like go work out of the house or lock my office at times, but that would be hard if I'm home. I'd maybe have to leave the house. I have a hard time wrapping my head around needing to listen to very dumb music a lot and watch very dumb TV shows and have shit be on the TV that's what they like and not what I like. And granted, my parents did do a fair job of like I said, like getting us to watch cooler comedy and stuff. But you know, a lot of the time as a parent, you're watching like super dumb cartoons, listening to Baby Shark, and there's mess everywhere that's not yours, and they're always all wanting to talk about what they want to talk about, and I feel like it impedes adult conversation. And I'm having and my dad is someone who didn't, God bless him, didn't pursue his dreams career-wise, so he was more able to like really immerse in the life of being a father, and that's not my life and career, and so I'm really worried about just that focus and time and losing like your own essence to a degree to become just the father of this child's essence.
If I may,
We're out of time.
because you
Thank you
asked,
so
we're out
much.
of time. I would say,
and with that,
it's not. You actually gain a lot more than you can imagine, and that we expect. Because I thought the same thing. I'm gonna lose a little bit of this, and I didn't achieve the things I wanted to. I became a dad younger than I wanted to. But what you gain in concert with the kid, it's so applicable to your life, to your work, to your comedy, to your relationship. Because you want to be better at the thing that's most important to you, the kids as a parent, and then you start to apply that to every other part of your life. You level up in these other things.
there's also like
So don't be afraid.
There's also
Embrace, because they say babies are born with a loaf of bread under their arms.
that
And
a
I
baby
was like,
brings a loaf of bread.
and I would say, I
And
hope
it
mine
doesn't-
comes with a bakery
and-
because
and-
I need it.
What does
Yeah,
that mean? You start
it's-
getting bread?
So
I
well,
avoid carbs usually at all costs.
They
Sounds like a giant negative.
what if you have celiac?
So a concern that I had, because I was broke when we got pregnant with our first kid, and that was the thing, was like a baby brings a loaf of bread, and it has rung true for me. But I think
meaning your career levels up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you wouldn't think, right? Because you're like, oh, I don't have any time. But what you do is you manage time in a different way. It's like you evolve, you change, and you join this unspoken club of other fathers. And everyone, there's this unspoken thing. It's like, we don't really talk about this a lot. And I'm glad we're talking about it now, but like, you get way more support than you even could ever know.
Yes.
Because of the understanding that you have a child. And so that kind of support is just everything levels up, like you were saying, everything levels up. So I had all these concerns. My concern wasn't, oh, I'm so busy, I don't know if I have time. Mine was the opposite. It was like, how am I going to support this child? And then you always find a way, life and the universe finds a way to
Right.
make it work.
Right.
Yeah, you find your porn watching club.
And we, yeah.
It's a great way to
and
blow
yeah,
off
baby,
steam.
baby shark sucks.
And steam's the name of a dancer.
Yeah.
She's
And
a
I
good
struggle with
dancer.
my daughter now, who's 9, with all the pop music she listens to that I don't want to listen to. You know, and I
Right.
try to introduce that kind of stuff. But you'll be surprised when you have that kind of love for another being, what you will excuse in general. Like it just doesn't matter. I'll listen to Baby Shark all day because I love you so much. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna pass
You're like,
after
I
that
don't wanna-
conversation. I think you guys did not do a good job.
Thank
of
God we're
We,
past that. I'm
we-
glad I'm past that. But yeah.
Hey, thank you for coming to Evan and Tony's birth control seminar. Short-term vasectomy. Don't worry about
kidding.
it.
I think those are beautiful answers, and that probably also creates camaraderie among men in your life more so. The other concern I sometimes have is when you see people become fathers and raising a child becomes their whole so much of their life, not their whole life. They become kind of lame and they start dressing badly and they start looking bad. But you guys are both cool still, so that's a good
Well,
positive.
and that's the thing. I think not wrapping your
Marginally
entire identity up in your child is an important thing. It's
Right.
so important for us to maintain who we are and what we do, because that's the example you want to send to your kid. You know, if it,
Still not.
nah, you're.
Can you still party? Can you still get
Oh,
drunk?
dude, I partied
yeah.
harder.
Really?
I
Yeah.
partied
Oh,
harder.
this is interesting. Now you're
since-
selling me.
Yeah, I
Keep
did
going,
not-
keep going, say more.
And I was I guess at a certain point I was like a rock star, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I partied, but I partied harder when I had it. My bachelor party.
How did you party harder? You can't say the bachelor party. Everybody gets that one day off. Other than the bachelor party, how are you partying harder? Where are you getting the time?
Because
It's so much more unique when you have that time. You're like, we're going to
Yeah.
Vietnam, we're going to Bali. I'm coming here. We're going to do this.
yeah, you go. I've got this. It's time management. It changes, right? The way you manage time changes. So you just go. I need to cut loose because I've got fucking Baby Shark in my ear,
Right.
X amount of hours a day, and I'm dadding the fuck out with like the thing. What's the Bjorn?
The
You know,
baby
you're
Bjorn?
walking around doing
Oof,
all
I have
that.
a bad back. I just been able to walk today for the first day
Strollers
in 4
work.
days.
You get the good lean on the
Strollers
stroller, and
better.
that
That's
works.
sounds
really
Yeah.
pretty
not
good.
selling it. But but then you just need to cut loose. You got to just, and so it becomes a reason to party.
I'll give you a
more.
good
So,
reason.
yeah.
It's going to make your comedy even better, because there's something that kids do that, like, all those parents in the crowd, when you start making kid jokes, good or bad, about how my
Right.
fucking kid is a
Yeah.
little bastard.
Yeah.
You know, you want to know why teenagers suck? There's 100 reasons why.
Can I also make sure I'm getting the wisdom? Can I recap what I'm taking from what you guys are saying about having a child? Is
I feel like he's gonna destroy
you
us.
you get very limited free time now, in which you really feel like you need to pack it in, because otherwise you are just absorbed by listening to the shit you don't want to be listening to, and the kid really changes the way that you look at stuff. So you are now shifting, and you need to make more money, and you feel the pressure. Maybe you get a little bit of free bread from it, and
Yes. So far, so good. I mean, look, we could try the child loan program. We've talked about
Yeah.
instituting this.
interesting. That I'm open
and then
to.
that way somebody could walk away after the weekend like, you know what, I like this, or I changed my mind.
No, I'm kidding. You guys are making me feel better about it. Making me feel better about it. So thank you. I will be dropping the kid off, though, in a basket on your door. 6 months in, if I'm not into it, and I'm going to say, you asked for this. You implored me to
You
do
fully
this.
deserve that. That's our fault.
You're welcome.
Ben, we end our episodes with just the tip, apropos, where you leave a piece of advice to people out there, or you leave a
I get
question.
it. I guess I'll just give a piece of advice, which is do the thing that is nagging at you, because you'll regret it if you don't. Take advantage of the opportunities when they come. I have too many times in my life waited for a second opportunity to come around, or a third. And sometimes, if you've got good energy flowing, it will come back around, but now you're older and you're more tired when you're doing the thing. And just lead with your heart. Let your heart lead you, maybe is a better way to say it.
Hear your heart.
No, I don't like that way to say it at all.
Okay, we'll cut.
I really wish you didn't
wish
rephrase.
you
Like maybe
wouldn't.
that's what your tip would be. You said hear your heart.
Jane Goodall told me that like 25 years ago.
Was that true?
Yeah.
Hear your heart.
Yeah, I said, could you? I asked her for a piece of advice, and I said, could you? I was working as a bar back in a restaurant, and she came in, and she said, just be honest and hear your heart throughout your life.
Wow, actually, it's really,
Yeah, what are you
it's
gonna do
really
with that?
beautiful.
Yeah, Jane
It was-
Goodall said it, so now you like it.
Yeah.
It's not
It was
'cause of me.
no, it was fun to make fun of you in the moment, but now I do like it more, and I could picture her saying it. Hear your heart, like this nice, sweet old woman at a bar. Also, why is she at a bar? Because it's like
Restaurant.
Why is she at-
secret. And then
How
a lot
many
of that
times did she
doesn't
go to
make
the
sense.
bathroom?
She was like, "Give me another one." And
Diet
then-
Coke. Put that rum in it.
Yeah.
She was with Ted Kennedy. It was
Oh my
tricky.
And then I'm just picturing her going back to that hotel room
Yeah.
and then just having sex with a monkey. Just hearing a lot of after that. And that's what her heart told her to do.
Yeah.
And it's research for her. So it's not, I really shouldn't be making these jokes. She passed away not long ago. Rest in peace. A wonderful human being.
Yeah.
Did amazing things. I shouldn't have made those jokes, but
Those
I wanted
jokes
to end
are
the
perfectly
podcast on a better
acceptable.
note than just, me making fun of your beautiful moment with Jane Goodall.
I have so much gratitude for you making fun of my moment.
Oh,
Ben
good.
Gleib, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we really appreciate it.
Take those comedic genius balls
Yes.
back.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the new show.
Thank you so much. Yeah, if people want to follow, please just subscribe at Goodnight on YouTube and at Ben Gleib on Instagram, where we're putting out lots of our clips, and it'll be a fun journey to follow. Thank you guys for having me. This was a really cool conversation. One of the better podcasts I've ever done.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks so much to our guests and listeners for today's show. Make sure to follow and subscribe to Balls on the Table on YouTube and on your favorite podcast platform. And drop us a line at ballsonthetable.com. This episode was produced by Taylor Hart, co-produced by J.K. Da Silva and Dean Gonzalez, edited by Dean Gonzalez, shot and captured by Artie Fatehi, music by Antonio Bellavo. That's Tony's fancy name. Special thanks to Christy Kelly, Joachim Horsley, Jason Brahms, and Brandon Morgan. We'll be back soon to talk about all the things men need and what Tony and I want to talk about.